boys scavenge through the wreckage of the plane, searching for anything that might help keep them alive. The desperate circumstances force them to be creative.
That'll work.
Although surrounded by snow, Nando and the others are suffering from dehydration.
The thirst at that altitude is exactly the same as the one you can feel in the middle of the desert, in the Sahara. You dehydrate a lot faster than at sea level.
Dehydration happens when a person's breathing rate increases. To get sufficient oxygen from the thin atmosphere, Nando needs to breathe more quickly, and that expends more moisture than normal. What Nando and the others don't realize is that eating snow also robs the body of valuable energy and heat, and accelerates the process of hypothermia. Ingesting snow rapidly cools the mouth, and when it's swallowed, the cold water lowers the body's temperature. To restore warmth to the mouth and body uses up valuable heat and energy.
With no protection from the cold and wind, your lips start to break and bleed. And if you put snow in your mouth, it hurts a lot. It was a double torture, the thirst plus the pain of putting snow on your destroyed lips. But there was no other way.
Carlitos tries to melt snow by shaking it, but this burns precious energy and proves exhausting.
The solution came about when someone discovered a way to make water, drop by drop.
The survivors discover that every seat back contains an aluminium sheet. They fold the metal sheets to create a makeshift funnel.
You put a thin layer of snow on the aluminum sheet, and the sun melted that layer into a tin can. And once that can was filled, we'd all take turns taking a sip of water.
Despite severe rationing, they're running out of food, and starvation is making everyone weak.
Carlito.
Nando quietly confides in his friend Carlitos.
You awake?
Yeah.
I'm gonna climb up the mountain.
Nando has become obsessed with the idea of walking out of the mountains to freedom. But Carlitos doesn't take him seriously and insists that Nando is too weak from hunger even to think about it.
We have to eat something or we're gonna die. Carlito. I'm gonna cut meat off one of the pilots.
Their hunger has forced the survivors to think about cannibalism. Some of them have even mentioned it out loud. But the idea is still so alien and so forbidden that no one's yet prepared to act on it.
God help us all. I've been thinking the same thing.
No, it doesn't matter. Well, we need to get...
que nos daban la posibilidad de juntarlo al radiotransmisor.
Be careful, all right? We will. We'll be back before you know it.
If they can find the tail, the boys hope to bring back the plane's battery, which they can use to power up the cockpit radio and send a distress call. Meanwhile, Nando studies a map from the cockpit, trying to work out an escape route from the mountains. He thinks he's worked out where the plane crashed, not too far from the Chilean foothills.
That means that we're really close to the Chilean foothills. If we can get over that mountain.
Nando believes that only one mountain stands between him and safety.
We thought we were very close to Chile. Chile was to the west, and if we climbed that mountain, we would be saved.
After trekking for hours, Carlitos and the boys return to the safety of the fuselage. They failed to find the tail section of the plane.
Todo era en contra nuestra.
Everything was against us. We were walking in snow waist deep, struggling because of the lack of oxygen and because we were so weak, and the cold. Unimaginable. Human beings cannot imagine how unbearable it was.
All of them are frozen, exhausted, and defeated. For Nando Parrado, day 8 is devastating. After a painful struggle, his sister Susie dies.
The only thing that comforted me was that she died peacefully in my arms, and she wasn't alone. After my sister died, I felt a change, a very important change. There was an inner voice that was instinct or heart or will, I don't know how to describe it, that told me I have to go on. You have to move forward. You cannot cry. You can't destroy yourself morally or emotionally. You have to fight to survive.
Finally, the food runs out.
The last thing I ate was a peanut covered in chocolate. I made it last for 3 days.
The survivors are slowly starving to death. Since the crash, Nando's body has tapped into the limited energy reserves stored in his liver. To keep him alive, his body is feeding off itself by breaking down fat deposits and muscle tissue into protein and energy. As his fat and muscle tissue are depleted, his body will become increasingly weak.